Hey everybody, welcome to the wine vlog. My name is Drew Baker and right now I'm here with Kevin Atticks. Kevin is the director of the Maryland Wine Association and this is a follow-up video to the video a few months ago. Kevin, in case anybody didn't see that first video or hasn't seen it in a while, can you remind us who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm as Drew said, the director of the Maryland Wineries Association, so that's essentially the head of the trade group representing all the wineries in the state. We have 41 wineries. All of them are members of our association. We run festivals, which you got to go to this past weekend.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Biggest ever festival. 30,000 people came. And just general promotion of Maryland wine and trying to encourage new wineries to start up and just wineries to make the best wine they can.
Okay, great. And 4 months ago when we had our first interview, we were talking about a lot of the restrictions that are going on with the Maryland wine industry that are left over from prohibition laws that are three-quarters of a century old.
At least.
What's happened in the last 4 months that has kind of changed the direction of the Maryland wine industry?
Well, the last time we talked, we had the Maryland Winery Modernization Act on tap, being put into the legislature, and after 4 months of fierce negotiations, we managed to get that passed. So now there are about...
And how did that pass? Flying colors or barely?
Well, it passed with unanimous votes.
Okay, that's good.
But votes don't come easy in Annapolis, so it was literally the last 2 hours of the legislative session on a Monday evening at 10:28, the bill passed. It could have passed early,
yeah.
but because of the politics, it was held and shuffled and traded, and finally we got it done at the very last minute.
That's great. So what, with this Modernization Act passed, what can Maryland wineries do now that they couldn't do before?
Well, there were 20 specific things that it fixed. The two biggest are the fact that you no longer need to have a county license. Before it passed, you had to go to the local liquor board and get a license to allow you to sell wine for people to take away from your winery for off-premise consumption. Which doesn't seem like a big deal, except that each liquor board, there are 24 of them in the state, have very different rules and regulations, so that, and interpretations and personalities. So they treated our wineries very differently, and not always the way that we interpret the laws to be. So that's the big change, is that now wineries no longer need to get a local liquor license. As of June 1st, we imagine 41 wineries are going to walk into their liquor board and turn their licenses back in, saying we don't need this anymore. Thank you very much. There are other new abilities, a couple production things. Wineries are now able to buy and sell bulk wine between each other, which can help. In good years, the biggest wineries make a whole lot of wine. In bad years, the bigger wineries have access to the fruit that may still be good, so the smaller wineries sometimes get shut out. Now the bigger wineries will be able to sell that bulk wine, any extra left over, Maryland bulk wine, stuff they've made, to smaller wineries. Wineries can now share equipment and make wine at each other's facilities.
Okay, so that makes it a lot easier for the little guy.
A lot easier for the little guy, a lot easier for startup. If you're spending $15,000 an acre putting grapes in the ground, that can be your focus now, and you can rent space at another winery and make your wine there until your cash flow comes in and you can build your own winery.
Yes, so that's cool. So you've kind of streamlined everything, and you've evened the playing field a little bit.
We've tried to. I mean, we have New York and Virginia as models, so we've looked at what they've done to really help grow the industry, and those were some of the changes. A couple other big things are wineries are now allowed to serve food at
That's
their
great,
winery.
yeah.
So they still have to get a health department permit, as anyone who touches food does. But now it's everything from salad to cheese trays to pizza.
Right.
Yeah. We do have one winery that has a pizza oven. So.
Okay, so now that we've got the Modernization Act passed, what's the next big frontier?
Well, something that was very popular this year, and given the politics of it, didn't pass, but came real close, was direct shipping, wine by mail.
What is that?
Well, it's the ability for a Maryland citizen to receive shipments of wine by mail, so they could join Wine of the Month clubs. If they're visiting a winery in California, New York, or Maryland, they could say, you know what, ship it back to me. I'm going to be on a road trip. I don't want to keep it in my car, so just ship it back to me. Maryland citizens, if this passes, will be able to have wine delivered to their door.
Or even if they're fans of Wine Spectator and they see a wine that they really like that, let's say, scored on the top 100 best buys, and they really want to buy that wine, they'll be able to order it off of line and have it sent directly to their house.
Right. So it's something that has been consumer driven, and you asked me about it last time, and I said it's a consumer issue, and I really do think it is a consumer issue, and the consumers came awful close to getting it passed.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of legislators tried to attach it to our bill, and that was defeated. We have lots of indications that next year is going to be the year that there will be a wine shipping bill.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you very much, Kevin.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thanks for updating everybody.
Thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely. So I hope you guys learned something new about what's going on with the Maryland wine industry. Get out and try some Maryland wine. Go check out a winery. And until next time, be safe, be smart, and don't drink and drive.